This is probably the hardest exam I've taken so far. Hello and welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, hi, my name is Nara. I am a full-time assistant editor of social media and marketing, as well as a full-time business management student. Yes, it is a lot, but not as much as this dang class was. Oh my gosh. I had a pretty rough couple of months. I'm not gonna lie. I maybe like 3 hours ago completed the intro to business finance class and I hated every second of it. But before we get into it, I do need to do our quote of the month, which I have sitting right behind me over here. And you might notice, if you're a frequent viewer, the setting of this video is a little bit different. No, I did not move. I moved my desk because, surprise, I have a new desk. Do you see this? It's an L-shaped desk, so you guys are on the L, or you're on the long part of the L, and then this is the short part of the L. You can see my little painting over here. I have some Spy Family figurines off to the side, and my quote of the month, which for last month was, I'm always in the right place at the right time. So true. And we're gonna pull out the quote for this month. I like to do this just at the beginning of all these monthly review videos to sort of set the intention for everything in my life going forward for the month ahead. So this next one is, the more I focus my mind on the good in my life, the more good comes into my life. And I think that is a very accurate sentiment for all the things I have to tell you guys about, minus this class that I just took. So we're gonna set this right over here. Yeah, I just finished the intro to business finance, which kind of built off of the class I took previously, which was intro to accounting, which I did enjoy the accounting class, even though it was very math-based, which is not always my favorite subject, but I think accounting is interesting. But the finance class was actually a class from hell because it was less about calculations and it was more about the theories behind said calculations and what it means to like forecast the health of a company. And it was just a lot of information. Like I said, it was the hardest class I have taken so far. And based off of my little Reddit search that I did before I even started the class, which I like to look up my course numbers and just kind of like go through Reddit because I feel like that's a good gauge for like what I should expect from a class. And a lot of people agreed with me that this class sucks ass. So it was very difficult. The reason why it was so hard, not only because the material is just a lot, it's really term and theory heavy, but there weren't any resources whatsoever beyond just the textbook. And I have always been the type of person where I am a sort of like auditory first and then hands-on second learner. So I remember like when I was in high school, I would never take notes. I would just sit in class and I would listen to the lecture and engage in like any like Socratic seminars that we had. Otherwise, I wasn't really studying beyond that unless there was something I knew I didn't understand, and then I would like in my free time go in and like review it. But I've always been like auditory / hands-on learner. And this class has no lecture videos. There are very few like resources outside of the class. Like if you go on YouTube, the only things I could find were like these AI podcasts that like someone had made with, I guess, like their notes or like stuff from the textbook, which I don't know about you, I cannot stand the sound of those like AI voices. It makes my brain feel like it's melting. And I also don't want to use AI if I don't have to. So that was like a no-go for me. So at first I started by just reading the textbook, which was a mistake because it was so dense. And these were concepts that I thought I understood, like compound interest or stocks versus bonds or what interest risk opportunity inflation is. Like these are all things that I thought I knew, but apparently I knew nothing about them because the book just went on and on and on. And I think there were 5 chapters total, and each chapter had like 6 or 7 sections. It was actually the worst. And again, there was like no lecture materials. They have they'll do like live lectures for classes, but for whatever reason, the only ones available for this class were like on Tuesdays at like 11 a.m. or like 4 p.m. I work full time. Like that's the whole reason I go to WGU, is because I'm a full-time like worker. So I don't know how you expect me to get knowledge from a lecture that I physically can't attend unless I were to take time off of work. And I'm sorry, but I'm not taking time off of my job that pays my rent to like sit in on your lecture that I don't even know if it's gonna help me, because like there's nothing else in this class that's helping me. So what proof, like there's no proof in the pudding that your lecture would even help me. You know what I mean? Like it was so frustrating. Also, I noticed like while I was reading the textbook, because I did try, I think I read through half of it before I pivoted my approach, because it just wasn't working for me. Because again, I am not a textbook learner. I never have been, never will be. No, but the thing I noticed when I was reading the textbook was there were so many typos, and I noticed typos in the practice test as well. So I would be like reading a question that like I barely understood to begin with, and then I would keep reading it like, am I stupid? Or is this not English? And then I would realize, no, there's like a typo in the sentence that makes it harder to comprehend when you already don't comprehend the question or like the text you're reading. So overall, a very frustrating experience. I previously to this class like have only sung praises for WGU because I loved the adaptability of it all. Like you didn't have to read the textbook. Like there were always lecture videos for every class I was in, minus the accounting class, because that was like more of a case study, but there were still videos with that. Like I could still watch the videos and like get an understanding of what I needed to without necessarily reading the entire textbook. With this, that was like not an option whatsoever. And so, like I said, I read half of the textbook before I started hitting a wall, and I felt like everything I was reading like was just kind of going like in one ear out the other, so to say. So I just like wasn't getting any value from reading the textbook because it just wasn't sticking in my brain. When I first took the practice test, I did it like before I even like touched any of the studying material. Not that there was much, but I took the practice test and I failed like pretty badly. And then I read half of the textbook, and I felt like I hit a point where like it wasn't doing anything for me. So then I was like, okay, let me just, based off of what I have read, let me take the practice test again. Because at that point I had been in the class for like a month. Like I was in this class for like almost 2 months, you guys. It was rough. But I was like, let me take the practice test again just to see like how much I have retained. So that way, if I do need to review stuff I've already read, I know that I don't have to review the whole book, because I just like, it just wasn't clicking for me. And so I took the practice test again. I did worse. I scored worse than when I took it when I didn't study the material, which was very frustrating because I pride myself as a very good test like taker, in the sense of like I'm good at multiple choice. I am able to suss like when something isn't a right answer. Like I might not be able to tell you what the right answer is, but I can discern what the wrong answers are in multiple choice. Really, it's just a matter of looking for like absolute statements. Like anything that extrudes absolutism in an answer is typically not correct, because there's nuance to everything. So if you have a statement that says like X can never be Y, you're more than likely gonna find that that answer is wrong. So I can like, process of elimination, also just like common like syntax and like context clues you can kind of find. Like I can tend to eliminate like 2, if not 3 answers out of 4 a lot of the time. But the fact that like even with me sitting there trying to like logic my way through these questions that I didn't really understand, but like maybe I could kind of guess the answers, I still did worse, and I had already studied like half of the material, just showed me that like the textbook thing was not working. It was making me feel more overwhelmed. What I thought I was learning, I was not absorbing at all. And so what I ended up doing instead of sitting there and reading more of the textbook, which again, half of the textbook took me like a month to read. So I opted instead to focus on term memorization. Because after I took the practice test the second time, I sort of like realized that a lot of the issue was I just didn't know what any of these terms meant, and there were so many terms. Case in point, This was the flashcard deck that I made by hand. I cut out pieces of paper because I couldn't find my actual flashcards, and I wrote down every single term that is in this godforsaken textbook, and I have this lovely stack to show for it. And I literally just wrote all these down, and I would sit down and I would just quiz myself on all these individual terms, like COGS, like future cash flows. And I'm gonna be so for real with you guys. I still don't fully understand all of this, but I was able to at least memorize like definitions so that when I did take the actual test and it would ask me these like very like theory concept based questions, I could kind of like better guess my way through it because I at least knew what some of the words meant, because there's just so many terms. I could have done Quizlet. There are Quizlets online. I did try to use a couple of those, but case in point, there's so much information. And this is me like just doing terms. I had like more flashcards with some like bullet points out of the book, but I ended up like taking them out because it was too much. Like it was way bigger than this, but this is like mostly what I studied. I could have used Quizlet in the pre-made ones, but again, there's so much information that I felt like reading the Quizlet quizzes or like the flashcards that other people had made previously that I like found via like these Reddit forums was not working, because again, it's just so much information. And so I just felt like, I think physically writing it down, and it did take me way longer, but like physically writing it down and having the tactile like flashcards, I think it did help me. So I am glad I did this. It was super time consuming, super stressful. I definitely cried a couple times while I was writing these. I will not lie. Because I would be like writing like the terms and the definitions. Like, what I did is I wrote all the terms first. Like anything that was highlighted in blue, like in the text, I was like writing down on these flashcards. And then I would go through section by section and do the definitions, and then like review the definitions, and then do the next section, like rinse and repeat. And when I was like writing down these definitions, like some of them are so long that I would like write them down and I would start to cry. Because I was like, oh, I don't know what the actual F I'm writing right now. I don't understand this. And like, I don't have time to understand this. I just need to like remember what it means so I can try to apply it in the test. It was so stressful. I started this class on March 1st, okay? That's when my semester started. I started on March 1st. As of recording, it is April 18th. I finished the test today, 3 hours ago. I did pass. I do want to say this. I did pass. Barely. Like, marginally passed the test. I think it was like, because with WGU, their exams are like progress bars, and there's a line. And as long as you're on the right side of the line, you pass. This is the line. This is like where I scored. Like, it was such small little margin. Like, I think if I had missed a couple more questions, I would have failed. Like, that's how hard this thing was for me. But I did pass, and that's all that matters. It was so hard though. But I will say, I think like taking that approach of doing the practice test, looking at the sections that were worth more percentage wise and that I scored like the worst on, and just studying on those did help. Though I did find that the first like section of the test, when I took it the first time, that was like my best scoring section. And then when I took it the like final time, the actual exam, that was my worst scoring section, because I kind of like didn't bother to review it. So when I was taking the test, I was kind of like, I kind of forgot like about this stuff, but I had studied like the higher percentage stuff more. So I did pass, but again, like such a slim margin, such a slim little margin. And I was stressing the whole fucking time. Like, it was so I kind of want to build like a little bonfire and like burn these and send them back into the universe so I never have to think of them ever again. Oh, I'm so glad I'm not a finance bro. I'm so glad I'm not a finance bro. Can you tell in real time? Like, I'm still actively crashing out over this class, and it's over. It's done. I never have to do it again. Yeah. And I had initially scheduled to take the test like end of March. Like I normally give myself a month to study and then like take an exam or like write a paper. But I was just so lost. Like I did not understand anything that I had to reschedule it for today. So yay, but it's done and that's all that matters. And I feel bad because in my last video, it wasn't like a normal video. I just did like a little update, or like this is, I think right now the title on it is like, oh, this is harder than I thought it would be. And I like briefly mentioned that I was taking a break from YouTube so I could have more time to study for this godforsaken class because it was eating away at my soul. And someone commented on it yesterday and they were like, I just signed up for this major at WGU and now I'm scared. And I'm like, oh my God, please don't be afraid. The only thing you have to fear is this one class because it sucked. But like all the other classes have been fine. Like I think anytime I've struggled with this degree has solely been because of my own like doing, because I was procrastinating, or really just procrastination has been like my mortal enemy like the last year of like being in college. But this is the first time I've taken a class where I actually did not understand the material, and I felt like there was no way for me to like get help. I did get emails from like the course instructor being like, if you want to meet with me, like I see you've been in this class for longer than a month, like if you want to meet, let me know and we can go over the material. But again, I personally did not feel like I was going to gain anything from talking to the instructor. I don't know if that's true. Maybe it would have helped. I was already frustrated and I didn't want to have to try to schedule a meeting. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm just saying that that was the choice I made because I was frustrated and I just wanted to get it over with. I know I talk about this a lot. Like the intro is me joking about like being in school, working full time. I'm busy, LOL. I am like really busy. All of my friends constantly like poke fun at me because they're like, oh, I'm gonna go to the movies. And I'm like, can't guys, I gotta study. And they're like, can you imagine like being in school still? Because I'm the only one of my friends who is enrolled in college because we are all of like a graduated age. And not to say that like you have to, be in your early 20s, late teens to be in college. Obviously I'm 25, like I'm back in school, but there is something to be said about how there is like a difference there because, all my friends have graduated. I am the late bloomer of the group, like educationally. So it is a thing where they'll like want to go to the movies after work or like go to the beach or something. And I'm like, I can't, like I have like shit to do. And like also, kind of outside of that, like my life in general, March has been a really interesting month for me, you guys, in a positive way. So let's get into it. Let's put the flashcards away, toss them to the side. We don't need those anymore. Let's get on to the fun part about the monthly reviews, which is the not school related topic, because I don't want to talk about this anymore. If you're here for the school stuff, like this, I don't want to talk about it anymore. I suffered, I conquered, it's done, and I can do other classes that will be much, much easier. This class sucked. Don't take that as a whole of the program. I love WGU. I think it's a great school. I love my program. This specific class sucked ass, and I'm so glad I never have to take it again. But moving on to the fun stuff. So in the month of March, beyond school, I went to Boston at the very beginning of the month with my partner. Or we went to Massachusetts. I went to Salem and Boston, and I've like hinted in some other videos that like there's a Boston vlog that I want to do that was gonna be posted like earlier this month, but then with this class and then the other things going on in my life that have been taking up my time, I had to like reschedule things around. That is still coming out this year, but overall the trip was really fun. Insert some photos from the trip. I took my like little point shoot pink like digicam and I was like taking photos everywhere because apparently like doing photography that way helps you like remember things better than like if you did it on your phone. And I think it's true because I feel like I remember that trip like really vividly. So that was really fun. I'd never been to Boston before, at least as far as I remember. I've like traveled up the whole East Coast, but I can't remember if I'd been to Boston or not, so I don't think I had been, but I did, you know, all the things. I had clam chowder, had a lobster roll. We, you know, went all over the place, took the metro everywhere. I explored Salem for a few days. It was really fun, and, you know, I'll talk more about that when that vlog does come out. I'm thinking probably around the holidays because it was like all snowy while we were there, so I think it'll be a fun like end of year little treat for you guys. I might change that, but I'm kind of thinking like December, November, so stay tuned for that one. And then a friend of mine was in a like community theater production of Julius Caesar, so there's some photos from that as well of this amazing performance. Everyone ate house boots down. Like they had like squib blood, so they were like popping blood in their hands, and it was like we had ponchos on because they were like, oh, you might get blood on you. It's fake blood, obviously, but it was really fun. Everyone did so good, and it was such a fun like little night out. It was at this like bar in Van Nuys. And then Avi, new desk, which I love her. I'm thinking about doing like a desk tour if you guys would want to see that. It's not fully done. I'm getting a free corkboard from work. They were like giving some away, so I have to claim mine sometime soon. So I'm gonna like put it up there, and I think I'm gonna like put up my art and, you know, like my little knickknacks and papers up there. And then I also got this chair too. So we have a new chair. I have to give away the old one, but we have this nicer chair, nice big desk. Shout out to my girl Rachel, for Rachel, the editor who runs Edit Hers, the Discord, which I talk about all the time. She gifted these to me. So thank you so much. Love you, queen. That was very sweet of you. Speaking of Edit Hers, we had a little picnic, a little gathering in Echo Park. We did paint by numbers, which is actually where this painting came from. I did this like flower paint by numbers, and it was really fun. We all took photos. I brought Maple with me, so she got to like say hi to everyone. So I know I normally post these videos on Mondays, and I did not do that for this one if you're watching it the day that it came out. I posted this on a Tuesday, and I know that's really odd. And that is because as of today, like literally to the date, I've officially been at my job for 1 year. So yay, 1 year work anniversary. If you've been here very long, you'll know that there was a point in time, this time last year, where I was unemployed for 10 months from like my career. I had worked like part-time jobs here and there, and being unemployed for that long was a very stressful thing. I was like coming close to the end of my lease term, and I was like concerned because I was like, I don't have full-time work. I don't know how I'm gonna get approved for like any apartment, let alone like getting renewed at my current place. I was like contemplating if I was gonna have to like move back to Tennessee. Like it was a lot, but we persevered and we got this job, and we've been here for a year now. And should I tell you? I think I'm gonna tell you. As of today, you can watch me on a little known channel as known as Good Mythical More, which is the after show to Good Mythical Morning with Rhett and Link. I did get tapped on the shoulder to be featured in like an episode for the very first time. I've been on the main show before. I gave Rhett a high five for his birthday last year. So if you look at that video and pause it for like 1 second, you can kind of see me briefly. But no, I have my first like fully like full introduction to the world of mythical on camera. I talk, I play a little game. It was really cool. I loved being on set. It was a super fun time. I am a big fan of YouTube. I mean, that's why I picked a career in it, because I grew up with YouTube back when it was like, I remember when YouTube like first like started. I remember my sister like sitting me in front of our family computer and being like, have you heard of this thing called YouTube? I was maybe like 5 or something at the time, like, because what YouTube came out in like, I want to say YouTube came out in like 2005, 2004. I would have been like 3 or 4. So I would have been like 4 or 5 when I first like used it. And I remember watching these like parody Miley Cyrus music videos. It was like the first thing I really interacted with. But over time, you know, YouTubers started like becoming a thing, and I remember watching Smosh and Rhett and Link, and then eventually Good Mythical Morning, and you know, that evolved over the years with like BuzzFeed, Try Guys, Sophia Nygaard, and like all these creators. And so if I had been told like 10 years ago when I was in high school, I would have been, yeah, like 10 years ago, if you had told me that like the videos I was watching during my like study hall periods, that I would be in one of those videos, like I would have literally passed out and been like, you're lying. But no, I am in an episode of Good Mythical More. I will link it below if you want to watch it. I think you should watch it. I was really nervous the whole time, but I think it came out really great, and I'm just very happy about it. So this is my little like, ooh, I'm on the show. So yeah, very cool, very exciting, and might be in another episode later this month. What? Huh? I mean, if you watch it, like, they'll tell you. But yeah, so that's like one of the big exciting things that I've been holding on to for a while, and I'm like, I finally get to tell you guys. And there's some other things like in that sphere that I want to share with you, but I can't quite. So yes, please go watch that video after this one. Thank you. Which you can go watch right now, because that's kind of it. Thank you so much for watching. I can't wait to share with you guys the other exciting things I have going on that I can't quite share with you yet. But once they're public knowledge, then I'll tell you. I love you the most. I cannot believe my life. This class this month sucked, but like, life is so good that I don't care. So I love you guys so much. Like, you don't understand. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.